Hi everyone, in this video we are going to deploy a full stack project. The project is built top of React Node tech stack, and I have a dedicated 40-hour of content about the whole project, so you can find that in my channel. And this is the repository. For continuing this video, you don't have to watch all this video. Instead, you can just simply fork this repository and you can start watching this video like how I deployed, and then you can deploy this project by your own, exactly like mine. So let's give a simple overview of this project. It's like a learning management project where you will see all the courses. You can create those courses from the dashboard, like from the admin panel. Then learner can purchase any course, and then they can also continue learning those courses. So this is kind of like a project in built with React, Node.js, Express.js, Postgres database. Let's see how we're going to deploy the whole project. Our project is actually built with the architecture of monorepo. So you can see in the repository, we have backend folder, frontend folder, packages folder, and also doc folder. So doc is for the documentation for the whole project. And in the packages, we have two packages that is kind of like type related and logger related, both packages used in our frontend and backend project. So if I just show you from the canvas, then you can see this is our full stack project. We have backend, we have frontend, and we have a packages that uses both in our frontend and backend. That's mean when we deploy the frontend, we also need to build the packages, including the frontend, and deploy that frontend. And then when we need to deploy the backend, we have to build the backend, including the packages, because packages is kind of dependency of the backend and frontend both. So that's why this is going to be very interesting, like how you can deploy a monorepo from a single repository, and you can deploy front and backend separately in separate services. So for the deployment purpose, we are going to use render for the backend deployment. So this is render.com. You can go and check it out. This is really cool platform, and it provides free tier, which is kind of enough to experiment the deployment. And for the database, as in the playlist, I used Postgres locally, but for the deployment purpose, I'm going to use cloud database, which is going to be Neon database, which is called NeonDB. So you can also check that out. And then for the Redis, as in our project, we use Redis for the caching. So we're also going to use Redis Cloud for the caching. So beside that, we have a payment gateway in our project. So we also need the payment gateway to be connected. And also it should be perfectly working fine when we deploy, including we have GitHub authentication in our project. So we will need GitHub client and secret and all those stuff connected with our backend. So all those things is actually compact with this particular project. So even if you didn't watch the whole playlist, you can just simply come to this repository and see the table of contents, and also in the README, you will see all the kind of informations that need to be run that project locally, including deploy that in the cloud. So if you go a little bit down, you can see how you can run the project locally section and how you can build the project, including the migration guide. Then we have some seed information, so you can see the database, and also the deployment guide, like how you should deploy. And this whole video, I will just break down the whole process. I'm going to make the process easy so that you can just follow that and understand the whole flow so that you can deploy any project. And so far I found render and Netlify is the great combinations. As in our front end, we use React, Vite, 10 stack router, and all those things. I choose Netlify to deploy the front end, and for the backend, render is providing a free tier, which is kind of really good. So you can check that out. So what we're going to do when we will deploy. So we will first create the NeonDB, which is the database, because database is crucial first. Then we're going to create the Redis Cloud. Then we will get those connection string. Then we're going to add that in our backend. And then we're going to deploy the backend. And beside that, the backend will need the GitHub OAuth and also the payment gateway information. So we will also generate those information, and we're going to attach that with our backend. And then when the backend will be done, we are going to deploy at the front end, or maybe the front end will be first deploying, and then we're going to use that front end URL in the backend, so that all completely done. So in the repository, mostly you have to look into the .environment for the backend and the front end, because when we deploy front end or backend project separately, the most crucial part is the environment variable. Even if it's front end or backend, you have to provide those variable informations based on the project. If your project doesn't have that, then it's very simple, but our project is pretty much complex, where we have authentication like OAuth, then we have payment gateway and some other mechanism. So for that case, you have to look into those environment variable, and when we are going to deploy that, we also have to use those value correctly so that our deployment got successful. So let's start deploying our project. So this is the backend environment variable, where we will need database informations, Redis informations, GitHub secret, and also lemon squeezy secret. We're going to resolve one by one. So first one is node environment, which is development in the locally, but as we're going to go with production, so we will make it production. Then the server port will be same as it is. And here you can see the database stuff. So these are the database informations when we use Postgres locally, or a Postgres directly in a VPS or something like that. But right now we are using cloud Postgres. So we will not need all these informations separately. We just need a single string which we can say connection string, and the value of the variable is neondb connection string. So we can remove all these things for now. Then we will need Redis URL, which is also kind of same connection string as we're using Cloud Redis server. And then we need all the GitHub secrets for managing our OAuth, and then the information about Lemon Squeezy. And here at the bottom, you will see course_path. This is actually for the course information. So in our application, we have a feature where we can set markdown content as a course content. So if we go backend, then in the course, we have some courses here, the materials. So from the admin panel, we can actually tag those materials for a particular lesson or course. So that's why course_path is important as well. As we're going to see details when we deploy that in the production. So let's first resolve our database issue, because we need a database, cloud database. So we're going to use the NeonDB. So this is the website, neon.com, and you just have to sign up. I already signed up with Google or GitHub. So let's log in with Google. So after login, you will see this kind of interface where you can share with multiple team members. And in the billing section, let's talk about that. So in the Neon free service, we will get, like in the Neon free tier, we will get 0.5 GB storage, then 100 compute hours. That means the database connection should be continue for 100 hours. When it surpasses, then the free limit will be done. And we can deploy 10 branches and some other information here. So it is kind of a decent plan, which is, I think, really helpful for a experiment purpose or hobby purpose. So you can use that. And let's go to the project and create a project. And inside that project, we can add multiple database. So I would just say code toad, the project name, and you can choose any version of Postgres. So I'm gonna use the stable one, like 17, and make sure you choose the region from your nearest country. So for me, it is Singapore, and make sure you use AWS, and don't enable the Neon auth until you don't need that. So right now I don't need that so far. So let's create the project. And inside that project, you will see this kind of interface here. When you will have multiple database, you will see all those information stuff. And if you have multiple branches, you can see those here. So now let's quickly see what actually NeonDB provides. If you go a little bit down here in the tables, you will see all the tables from all the database. Here you can choose the database. So right now we only have a NeonDB database, like the default one. So we can create multiple one. But for our project, we only need one database. And also we have some backup informations, then also SQL editor where we can run raw SQL, and we can perform the query with all the database we have. And then in the branches, if I just go there, then you can see multiple branches. Right now we only have one branches. So let's go to the overview and create our first database, which is already created. If you just go to the overview section, and here you can see in the computers, we already have a primary section. So let's just go to the connect. And here you can see we have a connection string. That's what I talked earlier in the environment variable. So in the connection string, we need that string here. So beside that, you can also create new database. Right now, the default one is NeonDB that you already saw. And you can also choose the role from here. So I would just suggest you just put as it is default and grab your, or like you can just show the connection string. So this is the string that we will need to add our environment in the backend. So right now, let's just keep as it is. Let's move into the Redis cloud so that we can create the account and we can get the URL. We will need those URL in the backend part when we deploy that in the render. So let's go to Redis. Let's just sign up. I already have the account. You can just sign up with Google or GitHub. You can see all those social login is available. So let's log in with Google. So after login, you will see this kind of interface. The interface could be changed a few months later or maybe in the future, but it will be pretty much similar. So in the Redis UI, you will see kind of the term called database. In the database, it has a limited storage, like 30 MB in the free tier, which is kind of decent to experiment with any kind of project. So like a small project. So if I just show you in the billing section, then you will see right now we don't have any billing history. So we are using the free version. So let's create a new database. And here you can see the pricing model. So in the free version, we will get shared deployment and 30 MB single DB. That's mean the value we're going to store, it cannot be cross more than 30 MB. So that's it. So I'm going to try with the first one. And here you can provide any database name. So I'm going to give code toad, and database version should be the middle one, 8.2. And I will choose like AWS, and the region, again, I'm going to choose the nearest one. So here it will be, I think, India. So let's just create the database. And as I mentioned here, like we will need another connection string for Redis. So we have to find out where it is. So if you just now go to the dashboard, here you can see this is the database. And if you just go or click on that database, then you will see this kind of interface, and you will see like the connect option. So if you just click on the connect option, then you will see like Redis inside. This is a desktop app which will help to connect Redis cloud with that applications, and we have a CLI options, and that's what we need. And that's the connection string you can see, this one. So we're going to copy that and we're going to use that when we are going to deploy the backend. So far we have done with our database and also the Redis. Now let's move to the third one, which is the Lemon Squeezy. As our application required Lemon Squeezy payment gateway, so we must need to create an account, create product, and also get those secret keys so that we can add that. So let's sign in. I already have the account, so you just have to go to the sign up page and sign up with Google, or it has a Twitter option. Do use any of that, and after that just sign in. So after sign in to your Squeezy account, you will see the dashboard like this, and then here at the bottom you will see test mode enable or not. So by default it will be not enable, but you have to turn on the test mode toggle to turn on so that we can implement the whole thing in test mode. And when all will be done, we can just simply go to the real mode or the production mode and then grab all those keys from there and put that in our application. So here you can see in the store you can create product. I already have some dummy product. You can see all this product. So mostly I am using this product for all the courses to purchase. You can use separate product as all the courses have separate price. And in the store section, you will get mostly all the menu related to ordering. So let's go to settings, where we are gonna need the API key, secret key, and also webhook secret key. So you can see I already have one. So let's just simply delete that and create a new one like this. So I'm gonna just give it test, and that's it. And it will be expired within 1 year, I think within 6 months. So let's just create an API key, and you have to copy the key and store that securely somewhere so that we can use that. So I already have the repo in my locally. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the old Lemon Squeezy key from the environment, and I'm going to add that. This is just for storing purpose. You can just use a notepad to just simply store that somewhere. That's it. So that's for the API key. Now we need the webhook. So in the webhook, we have already created some of the webhooks. So you can see this is our webhook URL, like webhook/enrollment/new enrollment. So everything's about the webhook and how we created the whole feature. I already discussed in the full stack tutorial on the YouTube that I mentioned. So you can just watch that part to understand what's going on. So what I'm going to do is just simply copy this one for now. And when our backend will be deployed, then we can use that backend webhook endpoint and add that here so that we can apply the functionality. So for now, we just only need the API key. And then when we deploy the backend, we will need again the webhook to be mentioned here so that we can get all those order event. So we're done with number 3, which is Lemon Squeezy. And now we need the information about GitHub OAuth. So for that case, we have to go to our GitHub settings here. In the setting menu, you will go to the developer setting here, and then we have OAuth apps. And you can see I already have an app. So what I'm going to do is just delete this one and create a new one so that I can show you how to create that. So I will just copy this URL because we need that URL. So let's just delete that particular. So in the advanced, I think I can delete this application. So let's delete that. And let's go back again to the OAuth apps and let's create a new OAuth. So we're going to say code toad. So this is the name that will be display when you're going to log in with GitHub. So make sure you provide a valid name. So I'm going to just say code toad. And here, this is important. You have to provide the homepage URL. So right now, just as I didn't deploy the front end yet, so the homepage URL is not yet decided. So what I can do is I can create that OAuth when we complete the front end deployment, or for now, we can also deploy the front-end part so far. So let's deploy the front-end part because front-end URL is necessary in our backend as well as in our webhook and everywhere. So I think let's just deploy the front-end. So for the front-end, we're going to use Netlify. And if I just show you from the repository that this is the front-end repo, this is the folder, and it use Vite and React app with 10 stack router. So it's a pretty simple deployment. So let's go to and sign up in Netlify. So I think you already know how to deploy the front end in Netlify, but still let's just log in. So I'm just going to log in. And after login, you will see this kind of interface where you have to choose the repository from GitHub, or you can choose any template for deploying from scratch. So in the project section, you will see this UI, and mostly we're going to use the project section. So let's import our project from GitHub. So what you have to do, as I told you, that you have to fork this repository if you don't have any other project to deploy. So when you fork that, you will get that in your GitHub. So you can choose any of the provider. So I would go with GitHub and choose your account, and then it will show authorized. And when it will be authenticated successful, then you will see all the listed repository if you already connected with Netlify, those repository. But if you are starting fresh, you will not see any repository. Instead, you will see these options like can't see your repo here, configure the Netlify app on GitHub. So you have to configure your repository with the Netlify so that Netlify get access of those particular repository that you want to target. So let's also check that. So if you just click on there, then you have to sign in again. Then you have to choose the organization like this. And after that, if you go a little bit down, then you will see repository access. You can provide all the repository access, but that's not recommended. You just have to choose the selected one that you want to provide access. So right now you can see I have several one access, and this one is the last one. And if you want to add more, you can just select repository from here and then just add that and save that whole thing. And when that's done, in the second step, you will see the repository will be visible in the list. So then you just have to choose that repository. And in the third step, that's the important steps where we have to put the project name first. So I'm going to just say code-stored. So I think it will be accepted. Yeah. And then in the build setting, this is very important. We have to select the branch. As we have two branches, we're going to go with the main branch. And in the project to deploy that, as we are going to deploy the front-end project, you can see it's already detected the front-end part. So if you have the project name, the front-end project name is different, then you will have to choose that from here. You can see the doc is also somehow accessible from here. So you will get mostly all the folder you have created in your repository. So you just have to choose the right one from here. So for our case, it's front end. And then here we need the build command for the front end. So if I just go to the front end, it's kind of a monorepo. And if you just go to the structure, like the monorepo structure, then you can see that we have backend, front end, and doc and packages. So in the front end, we also use these packages. That means if we just provide the front end build command, that's not only going to be enough, because we also need to build the packages inside of our front end build. So this is really crucial if you are deploying a monorepo. So make sure if you have any dependency packages that from your monorepo, then you have to find out the different build command so that all the packages also build when the front end application build. So for our application, I already prepared the build command. So if you just go a little bit down, then here you can see build the project, or I think in the deployment section, in the backend deployment, these are the build command, and for the front end deployment Netlify, this is the build command. So this is for the front end. So what's happening here? So we are using pnpm install first from the root directory, so that all the packages got installed, all the dependency. Then we are going to filter the packages folder so that we will build the packages first, because as for the front end, we must need to build the packages first, the logger package and the definition package. And then when that's done, we can build the front end so that front end will get all the packages information. So for that case, we have to filter the packages folder and we have to build that. And then lastly, we have to use the front end to build. So this is kind of a combination of 3 commands. So let's just grab this command. So this is going to be our build command. So make sure you don't mistake on these particular things. If your project is pretty simple, straightforward, it doesn't have any monorepo or dependency like packages or stuff, then you just simply provide pnpm front-end build, something like that, or npm front-end build, or whatever the folder name is. That's one command. But as our architecture is complex, so we need a different kind of command. So that's the build command, and here we have the publish directory, as the front end will be deploy like build, and then it will create a dist folder. That means that dist folder will be our application dist folder that we need to serve. So let's just copy that, and also it's already here, so I don't have to put that. And if you have a function directory like any Netlify functions, then you have to provide that directory here, as we don't have that. It's just a front end application. We just need the build command and the publish directory, and that's so far it is. And here we can also add environment variable like this. So if I just go here, then in our front end, we must need to add a environment variable. But as we didn't deploy the backend yet, so our backend URL is not ready. So let's just grab the key for now. We're going to update that again when we will deploy the backend. So for now, let's just put like this one in the value. So you can choose like import from a .environment file, or you can just simply add key and value. So this is the key and the value. So when that's done, now we can just simply click on the deploy project, and it's going to start deploying the whole project. And here you can see, if you just click on the deployment progress, you can see it's the building. So let's also check the log that the build is successfully happening or not. If you got any error, let's say you mistake with the build command, then you will get all the error here, so that you can debug that error and try to find out the actual build command, which will be working fine in your repository. So you can see whenever that start fresh, it's start with installing all the dependency files, then it's build the packages, then it's going to build the front end. And I think here the packages build success, and then it start building the front end. I think the front end build is also done. You can see all those chunk here in the dist folder, and then you will see deploying complete, cleanup complete, and post-processing is also complete. That means our deploy is kind of done. So let's go to the project overview, and you can see the green highlighted text here. So let's click on that. then we should see our front end is deployed successfully. So the dark mode, light mode is also working. So right now the front end is done. We have to use this front end URL in the backend and also in the GitHub auth, because in the GitHub auth we have to work with the backend and also the front end. So the front end domain and the backend domain is necessary. Mostly the front end is important, because if I just now go to the sign in from our application, and if I click, nothing is happening, because as the auth implementation, we have to go to the server side with the front end URL, try to find out a code from the GitHub so that it can sync and authenticate from the GitHub and perform the whole functionality. So for that case, we have to now add our front end information to the auth here. So in the homepage, it will be the homepage like this. And if you want to provide any description, you can just provide the description here. This will be visible when someone going to log in with our application from here. So let's just go to the next step, which is the authorize callback URL. So this was the callback URL, I think. So as we have a new homepage URL, this one, so this one is going to be our main URL. So what is actually this URL mean? So if you just try to go here and try to just hit that from the front end, then you should see like this kind of authentication loading here. That's when this is the page from the front end side, which actually triggers the server API to sync or authenticate the GitHub account. So that's why we have to provide that callback URL here. So whenever our backend will be done, it will be kind of like sync with the backend and the front end. So I already discussed the whole implementation in my full stack video series. So I highly recommend to watch that to see how the whole OAuth actually works, so that you can also understand how it's related to deploy the OAuth. So after getting all this information, now we can just create I think I got some error. So let's try again to create. Let's just refresh. I think I just changed the account. So let's just switch back again. Yeah, so let's just provide the name. So code the homepage will be this one, and also the callback is kind of this one. So let's just register our applications, and here we are. We have created the OAuth app, and now we just need the particular client ID and the secret ID. So this is the client ID. You can't use mine because I'm going to delete that when I publish the video. And here is the client ID. I just stored that here. I'm going to use that, and also generate a client secret, because this is important. So you just have to click here to generate the client secret, and you can see it's generated. So just copy that and let's store that somewhere. So because we are going to use all this value in our backend deployment. So we got the client ID, client secret. We also got the lemon squeezy key. The webhook secret is test 1 2 3 4. We're going to use that in webhook when we're done with the backend. So we need the front end URL, including the callback. So let's grab the front end URL. So this one is the earlier one I experiment. So right now it will be like code.netlify.app. So I think we are so far got the NeonDB connection string, then also Redis connection string, then lemon squeeze informations. So, and also our front end is deployed, and also the OAuth information is deployed. So I think we are kind of good with all the prerequisite to deploy the backend. So let's go to the repository and let's check from the environment value that anything we have missed or not. So I think we are kind of good. So let's go with our backend deployment. So we're going to use the render. So let's go and sign up. I think I already signed up. So let's just sign in. Make sure you sign in with GitHub, GitLab, or any of the provider. I just simply going to use Google. So after sign in, you will see this kind of UI where you can create project, the similar one like the Neon we saw. We create project. Under the project we can do a tons of stuff. The same in the Netlify, we can create project, and under the project we deploy something. So the same similar here in the backend, we have to create project, and inside that project we can add or deploy multiple services. So let's go to create services, or like deploy our service. So we have to go to like this one. We can create new project, but I already have a project like my project. That's the default project. And when you go to that project, you can add service, like create new service. So let's create a new service. And as from render, we can just go with web services. That's in the free version, and there are other versions as well, but like mostly those are paid. But the web service where we can deploy backend server, any APIs and all those stuff for free with some limited tier. So let's go to new web service, and here the similar thing we saw in the Netlify, that we have to connect with GitHub to find out the repository, and from that repository we have to list those repository here. The first thing is you have to choose the Git provider. So I already have choose, I think, GitHub like this. If you didn't choose any, you have to choose one. Then you have to connect with repository. And when you click here, you will see configure in GitHub. So if you just click on that, then you can again sign up or sign in with GitHub, and you have to choose the project. And after that, if you go bottom below, then you will see the repository access. So you can provide all the access of the repository, but I would recommend just put the repository that you need to deploy. Like this one is already give the access. And when you provide that, then you will see that list here, the repository will be visible. And then you just have to choose that repository like this. And this is very, very important area where we have to set up all those informations regarding our backend deployment. Now we need to use all those environment variable and all the value that we found earlier. So let's start one by one. So in the new service, here you can see this is the name, which is code.tot, and the project is my project. These are visible. Then in the language, you have to choose the language you want to deploy. As our project is on Node.js, we have to choose Node.js. Then the branch, we must need to use the main branch. If you have different, then just select different branch. And the same thing here, you have to choose the closest region. For my case, Singapore is the closest. And here, the root directory, which is going to be the repository directory like this one. So I would say this one is the root directory. So for that case, you just have to provide dot, which will represent the root of the repository will be the root directory. And then here we are again, the build command and the start command. For the front end, we don't need any command to start our project because Netlify already know that, which is the build command, but mostly with npm, like npm start is the build command, like the starter command to start a front end project. But for the backend, the command should be changed or it could be different. So we also need to start command. And in the build command, as again I mentioned earlier that it is monorepo, from the packages, some of the package, it's also used in the backend. That's mean for building the backend project, we must need the front end, like the packages project build. So for that case, let's also see in the repository here in the bottom in the deployment guide, we have that backend deployment render. This is the build command and this is the start command. So let's see the build command. So first we are going to install all the packages for all the folder. This is the first command, and then we use AND operator, and then we filter the packages. Pretty much similar like the front end, we filter the packages and then we build. So here we filter the packages and then we filter the backend and then we build one by one. So this is the same command kind of like this. So you can use either this one or also you can use this one. So let's just use this one, and this is going to be our build command. And as I mentioned here in the repository readme that the whole project needs pnpm, and in the Netlify and also in the render, if you just put pnpm, then it will by default get the pnpm install. So you don't have to put anything to install pnpm separately. It will automatically get that. Earlier we used like npm, but by default we can also get pnpm as well as when we add that command. And then in the start command, this command is important. This will actually run our server. So if I just go to the repository, then you can see for starting our backend, we are going to filter our backend and then we will hit like pnpm start. That's the command. So let's just go to the page here and let's just add this backend command. And here in the instance type, we have that section to choose which pricing we're going to use. So we're going to use the free one. You can see the free one is actually has a limitation, which is you will get 512 RAM. And also after 30 minutes of inactivity is going to be shut down. So you have to come back again, manually visit the server or hit the server API to active that particular server. So I think it's kind of a decent value in the free version. You can choose that or use that for hobby or some presentation purpose. So we have to choose the free version. And then here we are, the environment variable, as exactly like in our front end, we can set the environment variable. So we have to provide all the environment variable. So that we already gather here, like the server port is 8000, then we need production. Now we need those two value, the neondb connection string and also the Redis URL. So let's grab these two value from here. So this was the neondb connection string. So you just have to click, like go to the project, and under the project go to overview page, and on that overview page you will see like connect, and here you can copy the code, and then you just simply provided that like here it is. So if you just put that, so make sure you use like a string operator, or I think this one is also okay like this. We don't have to provide the string. And then we have a Redis URL. So let's also grab that Redis URL. I think I got logged out. So let's log in. And after login, here in the database section, we have to go to the database, and in the connect section, we have the Redis CLI. So this is the whole code, but we don't need the whole. We can copy the whole, but we only need from here, Redis : the URL. So let's just put that here, and we're going to remove the other one. So this is for the CLI command when we have the Redis CLI. Write this. So if you already install CLI, Redis CLI, then you can directly connect from your terminal like this. You can see it's already connected. If you just try ping, then it should show pong. That's when it's connected. So that's a kind of way. So that's why this kind of connection string is really important if you just deploy separately all of your services. So right now we have the database string, Redis string, and the front-end URL, the callback URL, including the GitHub client, GitHub secret, and JWT secret is kind of a demo text. You can provide anything. And also we have lemon squeegee secret API that we, I think, grab from here. So let's also, I think, yeah, I already created that. So I think mostly all the value is kind of prepared now. And lemon squeezy webhook secret, this is first defined in the backend, then we can use that in our lemon squeezy. And these are the default value. You don't have to touch that. One thing you have to touch is the course path. So here you can see opt, then render, then project, source, backend, course. So this is the path from the render when we have a course folder statically. Let's say if I just go in my repository, where is the course folder? In the backend, we have a course folder like this, and in that course folder, we have all these materials. Now we have to find out that materials or like the course folder path from the render, because when we deploy this particular repository in render, the whole path got changed. Right now you can see like here we mentioned the root directory, but still the path becomes different. So for that case, the path is kind of like opt render project, and in that project we will got the root directory like here. So for find out the course, it will be like backend and course. So this will be exactly like this. So you have to make sure you provide the course path exactly like this one for this particular video, for this particular project, like code toad, this one. If you have separate one, if you don't, you will not need this kind of course path, because maybe your project will not have any static file to serve in the front end or back end. So this is important. Make sure you put that. Now we have prepared all this value. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just simply add all those value. So we have two things here. We can add one by one, like adding the key and the value. And the second one is we can add from environment like this. So let's just grab all the value like this, and we can just paste that here. So we have the node environment, the connection string, and all those things here. And then you have to just click add variable, then you will see all those variable added here. Perfectly fine. So these are the variable. You can also see, if you just hover over, then you can see all those value here. So make sure you provided all the value exactly same like the backend environment here, without this DB host, because these are the database stuff for local database Postgres. So let's just save that, and I think we can start deploy our backend so far. Let's try to hit and deploy. And it's going to use all those things, set up those things, and it's going to deploy our backend. And for now, we don't have to change anything so far. If we need, we're going to change, and we're going to deploy the backend again. But let's see. So here, if you just go to again here in the dashboard, you can see all the service, and then you can choose your service. And here you can see the status. In the status, it's deploying. If you click on the deploying, then you can see all the log here like this. So that's how we can see the log. Again, if you need more detail, you can go to the sidebar. Here we have log options, and here you have the drop down live trial, which kind of gonna show you all the log live. And you can also see application log, then you can see the build log, all this stuff. So let's go back again to see that the deploy is completing or not. And you can see a info here, like your free instance will spin down with inactivity, which can delay request by 50 seconds or more. That's mean when the server will be inactive, if you don't use that, then after someone hit that server, it's gonna took almost 50 seconds or more than that to get activate again. I think in my case, I saw it took more than like 5 to 7 seconds to active the whole server when that got ideal. So this is where our package is actually, like the project is building. You can see the command running build command pnpm install. It's going to be install all those things, then it's going to filter the packages, then it's going to build the backend. So let's wait until it's finished. And beside that, we will get the URL of the backend like this. So here you can see this is the backend server URL. So what we can do, we can just simply grab that. This is our base URL, and we can add that in our front-end environment. So if I just go to the project from the front end, and here we are code toad, let's go to the code toad, and in the project configurations, we will find the environment variables like this. So you have to go to the project configurations, then here in the environment variable, click there. And if you go click again, environment variable, we right now don't have one. So I think I already added one, but I'm not sure why it just gone. So let's add a single value. Oh, I think it's for the whole project, but I think we have to add for this one. Let's just see. I think that was the correct one. Yeah. So let's go to again to the environment variables, and let's add one. So I have to add a single one. So I'm going to give the name for that is white API URL. I think this one. Yeah. White API URL. So let's provide the name, and the value will be our base path like this one. You can see the build is kind of successful, and the project also got run successfully. You can see API is running this, and also Reddit connection successful and ready to use. The new Postgres database has been initialized. That's when our database got successfully connected, our Redis got connected, and also our server is running. And if I just simply go to the server to check the server is running or not, I think there are some processes also happening. So let's just wait, and let's copy the base URL, this one, and add that in our front end. So this one is kind of the key, and as it's not going to contain secret values, I'm going to say it's just as it is, and the value is this one, and I'm just going to create the variable this one. So this will apply for all the scope for this particular project, but you can also separate for this particular one. So now as we have this information like white API URL, so I think we have to manually deploy again. So let's go to the project overview, And if I just go to the site and try to inspect and try to hit refresh, then we should see it is still trying to access the localhost backend. That means our environment does not apply with our frontend. So let's check that. So you have to come to the deploy section, and as we change the environment variable, now we have to deploy that again manually. And here is our API value. So let's go to the deploy section, and here you can see trigger deploy. This one was the last deploy. You can see the commit ID from the repository, and if you click that trigger deploy, you can deploy manually, like deploy project. And you can see this project is now again trying to build, initialize everything, and it's going to deploy with the environment variable that we set. So let's wait to deploy this. And also in the backend, it's already deployed. You can see it's live, and you can see all the log here. Right now it's all log. If you just click on the application log, you can see all the application log, and also you can choose the live log preview like this. So let's go to our base URL, and boom, our API is working like hello world. And as it's connected with our database, now we should see all the tables created, or if it's not created, then we have to apply the migration, or if we have any CD script, we're going to apply that. So the good thing is I already created a CD script. Now we're going to run that CD script so that we can just create all the tables and dump some data to run our project. So let's just see the front end deployed successful or not. You can see this is deployed successfully. So now if I just go to the overview again, it's live. So let's check again that we are hitting our right backend or not. If I just refresh, then you can see the API is still showing cross error, but you can see right now it's hitting our main server, the server that we deployed, which is this URL. That's been our front end environment variable is correctly connected, but we are not able to hit our server because of the API is showing not found. So I think this is mostly the server related issue, because our product and all those stuff is not working because we don't have any table in the database. So now we have to seed our database so that we can create all the tables and also dump some data so that our API is also seems working. So this is so far the front end is deployed, and also for the backend you can see those live log. As we have Morgan in our backend, we can see live log of those API call. So now let's apply the seed command so that we can dump the database, like we can dump some data in the database or create all those tables. So if you go to the repository, so for that seed, you have to clone that repository locally, and you have to apply like run the command. So you can find the seed script in the backend folder, and in the source folder you will see a seed folder, and in that seed folder you will see all those files. And if you go to the package.json from the backend, then you will see all the command here. You can see the migration command. You can apply the migration as well, as that's also fine, but I'm going to apply the seed, which will just create some of the data. So you can use seed after the seed generates. So let's try one by one. So as all the environment variable are same, like the server that we connected, mostly the neon database connection string, you need to seed the database. So let's just open the terminal from locally and navigate to the backend folder, and then you just have to run pnpm run seed generate, because we have to generate those data. And one thing you have to do before generating the seed, if I just show you the code in the generate seed data from the seed folder, then here you can see we have product. So if I just say lemon squeezy, so you can see we have courses, and in that courses we have enroll link. That's mean in lemon squeezy we have to create products as for this particular project for CodeToad, because this is connected with our project. And this was the product link that I have added in the courses when I'm generating the seed data, because when generating the seed data, it will create courses, it will create all the learning materials, and as the course need to be purchased, that means it need a valid URL to purchase that course. So for that case, you have to provide the correct course ID or like course enroll link from the Lemon Squeezy product like this one. So you just have to grab that link, and you can just add that in the course section here in the generate seed data.ts file from the seed folder, and in the line like 129, you will see the courses array in JavaScript or like TypeScript, and then in that particular array you can add multiple courses, and make sure you provide a valid enrollment link so that the payment gateway seems working fine in the cloud. So I already added that, so I don't have to think about that. And also we have a content link that I discuss. So if I just click like search for content link, then you can see generate full dataset. So here we have content link. So this is the material that I discuss here in the course folder. We have full stack JavaScript, then we have JavaScript interview. So this is that particular materials I am going to dump when seeding our database. That's mean when the CD script will create course, then materials and lesson. And in that lesson, I just going to add this particular .md file as a content. So make sure you also change that if you have a different course information. And for more details, I would highly recommend to watch my full video from the playlist, the full stack series, where you will see all the details about this whole feature. So let's now try to run our CD script. So pnpm run. Before running the seed, we have to generate the data set. So you just simply generate And when you hit the generate command, like pnpm run seed generate, then it will create data. You can see in the data folder under the seed folder, it has all those data. You can see these are the data. You can see the line is almost 13,000 line. So these are all the product informations, like courses, materials, quizzes, lessons, all those things. These are generated dynamically with the script. And after that generation, now we have all those data. Now we just have to dump those data, like we have to insert those data into our database. So for that case, we just simply going to run pnpm run seed, and it will start connecting with our database, and it's going to start inserting all those data. Right now we are not able to connect. We're getting error, so let's try to see the error, because it's showing seeding failed because we don't have any user. So let's I think start to sign in or sign up first to create any user. I think that should work. So if I just refresh from our front end and try to sign in, I think we should able to sign in. Let's see. And if I just click on the sign in button, we're getting error, like our API is not able to hit that. So we are getting error 404. So we're not able to get any API working. So let's debug that and see what's going on our backend. So mostly all the important stuff is related to the environment variable. So let's see the front end URL, which is this one, and the GitHub callback URL, which is this one. And I think all the environment variable are fine. So I think the issue is somewhere else. So let's see. I was trying without migrating the database. So first of all, we have to migrate the database. So in the package.json, you will find from the backend, you will find the migration is command, all these migration commands. So we're going to start with the create first. So we need to create the migration folder. So you have to do it locally because I didn't add that in the script, in the build script, so that whenever it build the project, it also migrate automatically. I didn't add that. So for that case, as our database is kind of cloud database, we can do that locally to just migrate that. So for that case, we have to use pnpm run migration create from the backend folder. And when we hit that command, we will see a migration folder where it will create a migration file like this. And now we have to use our second command, which is we have to generate our migration code. So if you just simply use pnpm run migration generate, then it's going to generate all this stuff, and you can see migration successful. So here, if we now go to the second file, you can see all those table information and all those things. And now let's just simply go to the migration run command so that it apply all the migration. And when you apply this, you're going to see all these tables are going to create, and those will be created in our cloud database as in the package.json. I think in the .environment variable, we added the neon connection string. Now, if we just simply go to neon and go back again to our project from the overview and from the table, now we should see all the table created. You can see all the table has created fine. So you can see there is no user for now, but now we should see our sign up or sign in API should work fine. So let's just see. Okay, I think still we are unable to call the API. You can see one thing here. This is the base URL, and then auth, then GitHub /URL. So I found the issue, which is I didn't add /API in the front end base URL, because all of our backend URL is kind of like the base path, then API, then the rest of the URL. So you can see clearly that the /API is missing. So I have to update the environment variable again. So I think that wasn't the issue with the database migration. Mostly it's about the environment variable that we used, like added in our front end. So let's go to the project configuration again. Go to the environment variable from the front end, and here in the white API URL, we have to update that. So we have to update the value. So you can see this is the value, and we have an edit option here. So what we have to do is simply just add /API. So that was the mistake that I have done earlier. I just added this one. Instead, we have to add that whole thing, and that's also mentioned in the README file too. So if you go to the repository README file, and if you go to the front end environment, and then you can see we have mentioned to add /API here. So if you don't add that, then you will see the same issue that I faced here. So yeah, let's just save that. And again, when you change something in the environment variable, you again have to deploy your project. So let's go to the deploy section and go to the trigger and deploy manually again. And let's wait until the deployment got finished. And it seems like the deployment has successful. It took 45 seconds. And if you go to the billing section, I want to show you one thing. If you go to the billing section, then you can see there is a build minute, and you will get only 30 minutes. Like that's mean in free tier for Netlify, you will only get 300 minutes for the pipeline build minute. That's mean if your front end project took 20 minutes to build, then you can just calculate how many times you can build the front end or deploy that. So make sure your front end project is light, and it took very, very less time to build. You already saw my project took only 45 seconds to build. And when that's done, you'll see last published 1 minute ago. Now we can just simply refresh and try to check that our API is working or not. So if I just go to the sign in page, or even if I just now inspect and try to refresh, then you can see all the APIs is working fine. So that was the problem. I was getting 404. Now you can see the full API is like /API core/library. That means the issue is not about from the server side, it's about the environment variable from the front end. So the same thing could be happen from the backend as well, as if you just mistake with the backend environment variable somehow. So the most important thing while you deploy the platform like Render, Netlify, is kind of like the environment variables and the build command and the start command. So these are the three important things you need to keep in mind, that if you get any error or any issue, most of the thing will be related to this particular. So now let's try to sign in to create our first user, because for the CD script, we must need to add some of the user in our database, because you already saw when I applied the CD script. Let's just try to apply that again. I will get error because I don't have any user. So pnpm run seed. I think without user, what will happen? It will create all those informations like courses and all those materials. I think I also need to add some learning information with the user, so I must need to create a user. But right now I'm not getting that error because I think I already migrated all the stuff. So the error when we got earlier, it was about migration, as we didn't have the user table. Because it's trying to find out from the user table to find out any user available or not in the CD script. So we must need to migrate first, and then we have to apply all the CD script. As we generated the seed data by all the CD script, but before that, your task is to create the migration and then generate that and apply that migration initially. And now let's just clean all the data that we already created, like when I just entered that command. And now let's try to sign in or sign up. So I'm going to sign in here manually. So I'm going to use GitHub. You can see the whole authentication is working really fine. So let's just sign in, and you can see that information here. I'm going to show you again. So this is the callback URL. Yeah. And when I sign in or sign up, it's sign up with kind of like a learner, but I also need to make that admin. So what I'm going to do, I have to go to the database and I have to change that user information, the role, to admin. So you just have to choose the user table from here, from the table. And here you can see in the table, we have a role column. And if you click on that user role, and here you can see the drop down, we have to change that to admin so that the user will become like admin. And if I just save that, now the user will be kind of admin. And if I just refresh, then you can see this is the user and this is the admin panel. You can see this is the admin dashboard, and we have the profile, and here we can see this is kind of admin. Now let's log in with another account, which will be kind of learner, and I'm not going to change that role manually, and that will be this one. And you can see this is the name that we provided here from the OAuth here in the application name. We can also provide any logo, and that logo will be visible directly here, this one. So let's select another account, and you can see this logo, and if it has some description, it will also show that. So by default, when we sign up, it's actually sign up with learner mode. So for admin, you have to manually change the role from the database so that the user you want to make admin, it will become admin. So right now, this is the learner panel, and this one is learner. Now, I don't have to manually change that user because I have two users. One is admin and another is learner. And I have all the table created. Now, it is perfect time to seed all the data that we want to seed. So I'm just going to summarize the seed process. First of all, you have to migrate your database, and then you have to run all the seed script one by one. And for migration, you have to run migration create, then migration generate, then migration run. Don't use like migration revert until you have to revert something in the development. And then when that's done, you have to use like the seed script. First of all, you have to use seed generate to generate the seed data, and you will see the data is actually in the data folder under the seed folder. And then you have to run npm run seed, which will actually seed or dump all the data. You're going to see that. So let's just run npm seed as we already generated all the data. And when we run npm run seed, now we should see all the data is dumping. And here you can see, all the data is inserting. So it start database seeding. You can see all the log. We found 2 users. Now we found 1 learners to enroll in course. That's mean as a learner user, we have to also enroll a particular course so that we can see all those learner activity. So for that case, in that script, I have added all those stuff. So that's mean if you have any learner in your database, it's gonna use those learner, it's gonna attach some of the courses that already purchased with that learner, and it's gonna add some of the learner activity so that we can see the learner panel is actually visibly active for our website. And beside that, it's going to create 5 courses, it's going to create 20 modules, it's going to create 100 chapters, it's going to create maybe more than 500 lessons for all those materials together. And when it will be created, you will see all the data visible in the admin panel and also the learner panel. So let's wait until it creates all those information. And as we are using a cloud database like Neon or maybe Supabase, it's going to take some time to insert all those information because we will have maybe more than 500 data that need to be inserted into the database, so it's going to take some time. And those will also count the database computation hour. So if you just go to the dashboard, and here you can see 100 CPU hours, that means this will also be count here. How many times you are running those queries is going to count as kind of like hours, but it's going to took a lot of time to reach 200 CU hours. I think for very small project, it's going to took a lot of time. So let's see when it finish. I think we have created 100 chapters, then we seeded 390 lessons. Now it's trying to seed lesson content. I think after that it will go and finish everything. So let's see. Here we are. Our database seeding is completed. You can see we have seed 5 courses, 20 modules, 100 chapters, and all those information. We also seed quizzes, and also quizzes has almost 560 quiz options. So this is huge data. I think more than 1,000 data we have inserted into the cloud database. So let's check from our cloud. So if I just go in the tables, and so in the tables we have all the tables created. You can see chapters. Let's just go down course. You can see this is about the course, and these are the information that just directly inserted from the CD script. And also we have added course enrollment because I already have learner account. That's mean I can enroll to a particular course, so I don't have to manually do that, and I just added that with the script. But we're going to see that manually also, so that we can check that our payment gateway is working or not. And beside that, you can see all the lessons. There are tons of data. I think in the quiz, I would say almost 160 quizzes, maybe more than that. So yeah, that's all about the data sheet. Now if I just go to our website, then we should see all the courses. You can see these are the courses. There are total 5 courses, and also those courses has some details like modules. These are the modules, and also we have hierarchy. So let's also go to the learner panels to see. You can see the learning activity is also visible, and you can see the streak and also total XP. And that's mean the application has kind of like a running, like the user is actually learning something on that application. So that's why seeding some data into your database actually make your application feel like it's running. So you can also see the leaderboard here. You can see that person also in the top, because we already have only one person. So let's go to learner panel again, and these are the square chart. Let's just click on these options, then you can see that day how much XP they earned. And also let's now go to the billing section. Then you can see the person actually purchased 2 course like these 2, and you can see the invoice link and all those things. So let's go to check a particular course. So I'm going to check with the first one, the mobile one. So here you can see these are the modules that actually created from the admin panel. We're going to see the admin panel as well as. So here let's also go to the current one, this one, and these are the chapters for this particular section. I think the dark mode was really good. So let's go and continue again. Then you can see this is the current lesson that was the learner was learning. So if I just simply go and continue on the course, it's going to took to that particular current lesson, and you can see this is the markdown text or the materials that coming from exactly in the course folder. So we added that in our environment variable, that path. If you didn't provide the path correctly, then you will not able to see the informations here, because that actually coming directly from that particular path with our API. So I explain all these things details in my full stack playlist. So make sure you watch that to understand everything. Now let's try to submit a lesson. You can see lesson completed. And if I just go back again, then you can see the XP change. And here you can see there are total 6 XP earned. That's when our progress, like the learner actually able to progress on the platform. So let's also see from the admin panel, as I have an admin account also. This one is the admin account. So let's sign in with the admin account, and you can see it's authenticating, and it's going to take us to the admin panel. Here is the admin panel. Let's go to the dashboard. Then you can see we have only total 1 student. If I go to the learner, then you can see this is the learner information. The learner actually purchased 2 courses that valued total more than 400, and 1 course is almost 99% done, and another course is done 26%, and all the streak and all those informations here. Let's go to the dashboard, see the statistics, and we got the monthly sales in the January month. We got 1 sales, and these are the courses that got enrolled, and all the courses in progress from the learner. So our statistics is also working fine, and these are the recent purchase. So let's go to the course section, and you can see all these courses. So these are the courses that got inserted with the CD script. Now we can also create new course, and we should see all the product that's coming from the Lemon Squeezy. You can see these are the Lemon Squeezy product. If I just take you here, we have 4 product like AI Assistant, Chrome Extension, Data Science, DevOps, mobile apps. So these are the product that coming from here. Now we can create course. So let's try with Data Science, this one, and let's just add 1 year validity. This is the price, and we're gonna create a new course. I think yeah, that's our new course. You can see Data Science and Machine Learning with Python. So we have to publish that course so that. And also let's just remove this description. These are the descriptions coming from Lemon Squeezy. You can also update that if you just clone that repo. And when we have published the course, now we can also create modules. I think all is working fine. You can see. And let's go to the website. Then you can see we have our data science and machine learning course that's we created recently. You can see the picture. We don't have modules yet. So if we just create modules, that should also come here. So let's go to and just simply create a single module. So we're going to select this one. I think this will be test. and we have to choose an icon, and also it should be published and test description like this. And if I just save, now we should see the course into our, like the details, like this one, test. This is here. And if I now click enroll now, then it should take us to the Lemon Squeezy. And here you are. We are in the Lemon Squeezy page, and that's the checkout page. Now, if I just purchase that, we're gonna enroll that. So let's do that before we have to complete our Lemon Squeezy webhook connection. As in the backend, we added Lemon Squeezy webhook secret key and also Lemon Squeezy secret, but in the Lemon Squeezy, we didn't add our webhook with our backend. So right now, if I just go to the setting and webhook, you can see this was the older one. Now we have to update this, or we have to delete this. So I think I'm gonna just update this one, because this one was the last one I tried by myself before making the video. You can see this is the base URL. It start with like 2, but right now it's showing 1. So we have to update the base URL. And for the webhook endpoint, so I think simply use this one. Yeah, so I think I have to provide like this. I think there are some issues. So let's just simply go and edit again. So what I have to do is simply grab that, and I have to grab this one, as the HTTPS will be removed by default. So I just have to replace this, and you can see this is the API base URL and webhook /enrollment /new enrollment. So this is the API, webhook API from our backend code base, like in our backend code base, this one. So you have to tag that with in your webhook in the payment gateway. Either it's Stripe or any payment gateway, you have to add that. That's mean, and also you can see that sign in secret. So this is the secret that we added in the render, like in ls webhook secret. You can see it's test 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you provide the correct secret and also the URL of that particular webhook API. And also you have to check that event that is going to be triggered when the webhook will be triggered, or like when any order will be created, or any affiliate activated, or anything. You can see all the list of that event. I added like order created. That's mean whenever any order will be created from the Lemon Squeezy, it will hit this particular webhook with the secret, and our backend server will validate with the secret, and it's gonna insert that order into the database, and also it's gonna enroll the course, and all will be working fine in our backend. And let's just save that webhook. I think we got some error, so let's just try again. And you can see, well, now it's saved successfully. So sometimes you will get some issue from Lemon Squeezy. Now we added the webhook, and another things we have to do, which is in the product, as I added this product like AI Assistant Chrome extension in the city script. That's mean whenever we're going to purchase any product from our website. So I think .netlify. So let's go to .netlify.app. So whenever we're going to purchase any of that particular course, it's going to go to that particular product, like this one, AI Assistant. So let's try to go enroll now. And also beside that, in the product details, you have to add one important thing, which is confirmation model. That's mean when your product will be purchased or course will be enrolled, then you will see some sort of interface to redirect back to your website. So that is called the confirmation model. So when that's done, it will show that model, and you have to add a button, which is going to be like this one. This is the text, and you can add also the title of the message, anything. But in the button link, you have to provide your front-end application URL. So you can see this is the checkout page. But when we are gonna complete the checkout, then we should redirect to the dashboard, like the learner dashboard page. So for that case, we have to use our front-end URL here, and make sure we have to add that URL. Let's just grab that base path, and then let's just put that here. And for our learner panel, it was like /learner/courses. So if I just log out from here and log in with a particular learner, let's say this was the learner, and then you can see the learner dashboard URL is this one, learner/courses. So you just have to copy this one, and you have to put that every product and in the confirmation model, so that whenever the product got purchased or the course got purchased, in that confirmation model, there will be a button, so that user can click on that button and it will directly navigate the user to the learner panel. So make sure you add that. This is important. Again, I got the error from Lemon Squeezy. Let's just wait a little bit and then save again. And you can see the product saved successfully. So now we are kind of done. So let me summarize again what you have to do. So first of all, you have to create the API key for the Lemon Squeezy, which will be added in your backend server, so that it can connect with Lemon Squeezy. And then you have to create a webhook API. That's will be implemented in your backend, but that endpoint will be added in your Lemon Squeezy account. Like here, in the webhooks, you have to create a new webhooks like this from here. And in the new webhook, you have to add that callback URL. That's in the webhook URL from your backend. And then you have to provide a secret that will be that will help to verify that webhook request. And you have to choose your trigger, like the event trigger, which you want to use. And then when that's done, you will see the list. after that, you have to go to your product and you have to add the redirection of that product. Like after that course will be purchased, what will happen, what will be user go. So you have to add that in your confirmation model button. Like right now, go to a dashboard and I added that button link. So these are the three things that you must need to do in your Lemon Squeezy account with the product. And now let's check our project, that is that Lemon Squeezy is working fine or not. So right now I am logging with a learner account. That's mean I need to purchase one course. So let's see which course already purchased. So these are the two courses that's already purchased. So I'm going to purchase another course, and you can see in the billing information we have these two. So let's purchase I think the full stack JavaScript development, and let's click on the enroll button. And here you can see in the checkout page, it will show the card number, it will show all this information. So let's fill up all this information here. So I'm going to say the demo one, like 4242 and 42, like this. So it will be like a Visa card, the demo card that's from Lemon Squeezy. You can use that, and you can see the top panel. This is like test mode is currently enabled, so we are in the test mode. So it's not going to be like real payment, but yeah, it will exactly work like real payment. So I'm just gonna select a country like this one, and I am gonna just select a postcode, and these are the information that you have to just provide, and then simply just click on the pay now. And you can see this was the product that I mentioned in the Lemon Squeezy there. And now if I just go to purchase, and here we are, you can see thanks for your order. Now this is the button that we discuss here, like when we just add that in the confirmation model. So this is the confirmation model. Now user cannot do anything, like anywhere if user click, nothing happening. So user must need to click this button. If you just close that and go back again their dashboard, they will see that the course is already enrolled. But from this page, user must need to go to the dashboard. So if the user click on the dashboard button, then you can see the user actually navigated or redirect to the learner panel, and you can see the course is purchased, like full stack JavaScript development. If I just go to the billing page, and you can see the full stack JavaScript course $10, which is also purchased. And if I just go to Lemon Squeezy and go to the orders, then I will also see that got purchased. And here you are, you can see that this course is actually purchased like this 10 point. And that's what's happening. And also that's not end here, as we have the admin panel. In the admin, we should also see the information of the order, and also we should see the money that's actually increased in our admin panel. So let's also see the course information, like here in the explore section, we can see all the course. And also let's go to the first chapter, try to complete that. I think that's the first quiz. I think, yes, I have done the correct answer. Let's just complete this one. The second one is also, I think this one is like the content of markdown text. So I think we're done with that course, and you can see that progress is also increasing, and here that activity. So overall, the learner is also kind of started learning this course. So let's go to the leaderboard. We can see that's also updating. So overall, the project is running perfectly fine live. You can see that's the URL. But when I will publish the video, we'll not see that project is deployed in the internet. So for experiment, the whole thing you have to deploy by yourself by watching the whole video, understanding the full process. So now we're going to check the admin panel also to see all the things working. So if I just log out and sign in with admin like this one, then we should see the sales count increase. So if I just go to the dashboard, then you can see we have total one student, but the recent purchase was this one, like this one. So it should be top of that list. I think we have to order that orders. So this is the total sales. This is 3 orders. Then we have the last course expired, which will also help the admin to know that when the students finish their last course, so that admin can decide either they're gonna drop the platform or either they can continue. So in the statistics, we should see, you can see that in the January month, we have one sales. In the February month, we have another sales like this one. And these are the 3 courses that purchased, and all the courses actually started. So, and also let's check from the lesson that our lesson content working fine or not. You can see these are the markdown files. That's mean whenever we create a course, then we create modules, then we create chapter, and under the chapter, we create lessons. And in that lessons, we create lesson content and we create quizzes. So in the lesson content, we can select any lessons, and then we can select the markdown file from the repository statically. Like here in the backend, we added that course, and in that course we have materials like this, and all the materials will be loaded as a drop down here. You can select that, and you can also preview those markdown file format, like all those content, and then you can save as a lesson content. And when you save that, that's actually going to be saved as a lessons. Like you can see, we already have some of the lessons content here, and we have also tons of filter options. So let's just filter one. So let's just go new lesson and also try to check, and you can see we have all those things. So you can create content and quizzes, and when that's done, it will directly affect into the courses that tagged with that particular student. And also you can see the learner overview. We have one learner. If you just sign up with another GitHub account, you will see all those learner here. So that's actually for the admin side, and other than that, all is working fine after deployment. And you can see if I just inspect the element, all the admin like API should working fine, including the token refresh. If I just go to the backend server, we can also see live log. If I just go to here in the sidebar, you can see the log, and in the all log we have the drop down, we have application log. So this application log is actually the server log that we hit every time we hit any URL, or the API is gonna just log here. You can see sometimes we got the token expired, and after that it's directly implemented the like directly going with the refresh token mechanism that we implemented in the project. You can see it's trying to verify that. If that got failed, then it's trying to verify again. I think somewhere we also refresh the token and verify that again and regenerate the token to send that to the user. And all the log you will see here. And if you saw any error in the live, you will also got that here. Let's just try to check or like refresh again. So like profile API that got called first, and then we call this particular API. And if I just go again, then you can see the profile is called and also this one got called. So let's just somehow check another API from the admin panel to check that our API is securely authorized or not. So if I just refresh, so this is kind of like a authorized route, so it should not be accessible from anywhere. So if I just now hit from anywhere, let's say, you can see the API is showing unauthorized request. That means our server is also functioning fine. And also you just see here the auth failed, no auth headers provided. So you can see all the log directly in here. So that's a cool feature as well as. And other than that, you can see the metrics of your applications, like when that bandwidth is spike or not. You can see the uses. And also the most important, if you go to the billing section from the render, like I think in the project, and here I think you have to come to the homepage like dashboard/render.com, and then from the billing section you will see the uses. And if you go a little bit down, then you can see total users, like monthly users. So you will get 750 hours totally, and that's the uses of that. And this is the bandwidth. You will get 100 GB of bandwidth, and we just use 5 MB. And also you will get 500-minute pipeline. Right now we use 19 minutes. So this is the hours for the instance. So make sure you also track and monitor all those things when you are using free tier. And mostly if you don't just do any activity on your application for the server side, is going to be inactive, and you will not, it's not going to use that compute power. So you have to manually come back again, and you have to hit the URL to live the server again. And that's not happened with frontend, because the frontend always got keep sync, and you can see as it's have almost 100 GB bandwidth, and in the frontend it does not go sleep with Netlify. So that's only happened with the backend in the free limit. So you can just upgrade the plan to get the whole feature. So that's overall our application and the deployment. So make sure you give a star on this particular repository, and if you want to see the whole project, how it's built, how we build the project, then you can watch all the video from the YouTube from my channel. I have a four part, which is almost 40 hours of content. You can just watch that to understand the whole code base. I have almost 99 commits, and I to explain all the commits one by one from scratch to complete the project, and also try the deployment with this particular repository. Mostly you have to keep in mind the backend environment and also the frontend environment, including NeonDB connection and also Redis stuff, and the OAuth information. So I would say thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one.